welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review. I am your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi everybody.
And tonight we will be reviewing High Spirits. That's a film back in another oldie but goodie movie that was around 1989. Yeah, and this one was filmed by...
it's a fantasy comedy.
Yes. Yes, it's a fantasy comedy, and it was filmed by Neil Jordan.
And it's actually directed by...
Yes, and just so you know, he directed it and written it in this one.
He wrote it with, co-wrote it with Michael McDowell.
Yes, anyway, Neil is also responsible for the Company of Wolves we talked about, and is responsible for the interview with the vampire movie, which we'll probably look at doing next time, guys.
That sounds like a good idea, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good movie, that.
Yes, it is. So anyway, so who stars in this nice film, Mike?
In this nice film. Actually, before I go into who stars in it, I wanted to say one thing. This movie, we like it. It's quite good. It's funny. It's great. It's put together. It had a budget of 17 million, but only did 8 million at the box office. I think really it could have been a matter of releasing it at the wrong time, maybe. But we're going to go with it. We're going to review this as we normally do. We think it's a good movie. But anyway,
Irrespective, guys.
Now,
it's
main stars.
And
we have Steve Guttenberg plays Jack, our lead male. His wife was played by Beverly D'Angelo, but she wasn't the leading lady. Jack had a affair with a ghost played by Daryl Hannah, and she's Mary Plunkett Bergen. Actually, there's a bit more to it than that. It would unroll in the story a bit.
Yeah.
Now, here's one for you. Liam Neeson's in it. This is before he became a Jedi. Okay? Now, he's young, good looking, rather buff looking. What do you reckon? You're rather young and fit, do you think?
Yeah, young, fit, and highly desirable.
And here's one for you. Peter O'Toole. Now, a lot of people remember him out of things like Lawrence of Arabia and some other really good classic movies. But he does drama and comedy just as well. And I think his comedy in this is quite humorous. Now, Sarah was saying before that they were considering Sean Connery for this part. Sean Connery is a brilliant actor, but this is based in Ireland, and Peter O'Toole, I believe, is an Irishman, and Sean Connery is a Scot, or English Scottish. So I think keeping true to the storyline, you got an Irishman playing an Irishman.
But I think he was probably claimed by some other studio to do another film at the time.
But
So
Peter O'Toole plays a really good, I wouldn't say mad Irishman, but madcap Irishman.
Yeah, along with Peter O'Toole, we have another Peter in this film mix. What's his name?
Peter Gallagher. Now, he plays a guy called Brother Tony. I know his face, but I can't place him.
Well, he's also starred in another ghost movie, which is called House on Haunted Hill in 1999.
That's right, he played the doctor guy. That was a remake with... Mr. Rush playing the Vincent Price role.
Yes.
Jeffrey Rush.
We'll probably do a review of that movie next time
that'd be fun,
guys.
I like
and
scary stuff.
Playing opposite with this Peter, brother Tony.
Jennifer Tilly.
You may know her from The Bride of Chucky, if you've seen that movie, or another.
Everyone's seen The Bride of Chucky.
Yeah, so you know her roles she's previously done, and
she's been in a few movies over the years. Yeah, cute in this one and quite funny.
Yeah, her character's name is Miranda.
Yes, Miranda.
Yeah.
No last name. Didn't need one. Wasn't one of the main roles, but she's had a very interesting.
Yeah, she has an interesting role with Brother Tony.
Needless to say, Brother Tony was swayed by her feminine wiles. That's a good way to put it, isn't it?
I think that's the best way I could put it, Mike. So,
anyway, just going to roll into it?
Yeah,
do you want to do a quick overview of it?
Yeah, so let's begin at the beginning.
Well, a good place to start.
So it starts off with Peter O'Toole's character named Peter Plunkett, who's an owner of a very interesting castle that's modernized to become a hotel. But the problem is, he's running up a lot of bills. He's not getting enough customers. Everyone is going to be going broke. In other words,
and he's got I think he's got a mortgage to the hilt, and the guy who's holding the mortgage actually wants the castle. Now this guy, this is where the plot sort of thickens. It's not obvious in it, but it comes out during the movie. But the guy in America who wants it must be a distant relation who actually lived in the castle at some stage. And he's actually financed the money to keep the castle going. Now he's calling up the debts.
yeah, and he wants to take the Irish castle and take it all the way to Los Angeles to make into an Irish theme park somewhere.
Yeah, was it going to be Malibu?
I think Malibu's part of Los Angeles,
I think it mentioned the place they want to take it to. Yeah.
Roughly, they think that it will probably be a moneymaker up
somewhere
there.
on the west coast there, folks. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, his Peter's his mother comes up with tells him about how he's disappointing a lot of his ghost family.
Yeah. His great grandparents, his grandfather, his father.
His dad.
They're all ghosts. They're living there.
He thinks she's off her trolley.
And he thinks, hey, why don't we sell this idea as the most haunted castle in Ireland and get people to come here in tour groups and stay in a haunted castle?
Yeah. So they come. So they end up coming up with those kind of ghost schemes where you've probably seen them in those those fake ghost stories people pull on people, like ghost schemes and stuff. And while some of them look pretty good, others seem a bit cheesy.
Yeah. So it's a little bit like hosting a murder. No one really gets murdered, and it's all fun.
Yeah, it's all for like a fun joke, if you will.
But some of the people here, there's one of the tourist guys staying over, in the beginning of the movie, he's looking for a real ghost. He's a paranormal investigator, a parapsychologist or something or other.
Yeah, and he can probably see through Peter Plunkett's charade, if you will.
He thinks it's a lot of crap. Pardon the language, folks.
Yes,
but the things changed in the movie, and he realises, oops.
Yes. Anyway, Jack and what's her name? Shan.
Who?
Her character's name.
Which one?
Beverly's
his wife.
one. Yeah.
His wife Sharon. Now Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon is the daughter of that so-called.
The guy who's holding the mortgage of the property, but her husband Jack, doesn't know that, and she doesn't tell anybody that she's out there to do an investigation for dear old daddy.
Yeah, she led Jack on to believe that this is a second honeymoon. So
poor Jack. He's a really nice guy.
And Jack is trying his absolute hardest to romance his wife, but she's giving him the cold shoulder.
Cold, every bloody thing, if you ask me. I mean, she's not a very nice lady. I do like her as an actress in other movies, but she's playing a really nasty lady in this one, and she does
lay it down thickly.
She plays it pretty good, and drives her poor husband away.
Yes.
It sends him to the grave almost.
And as I'll bring our other side story to this. Miranda, as I mentioned earlier, she meets brother Tony at this hotel,
and he's rather boring.
She's come there on a joint holiday with her boyfriend, but her boyfriend ran off with a Buddhist and all that stuff.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
And she's sworn off men supposedly, but I don't believe her.
It says no, just for a little while. She said.
Yes, but she's really attracted to Tony, brother Tony,
who's going to become a priest.
Yeah,
and before he takes his final vows, he's going to have a holiday.
Yes,
well,
but I think
holiday.
I think this is like he's in a way of being tempted, even though he's.
Oh, guess what?
Guess what?
He got tempted.
Yeah. So anyway, they all arrived there. And somehow all the ghost stunts they pulled turned out to be
all fake ghost stunts.
All going to hell.
Yeah,
hell.
And they get caught out early in the movie, and everyone said, "Okay, we're out of here. We don't want to stay." Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And then the ghosts who live there
really
get the crap for Peter O'Toole, and they said, "Well, we're going to protect our homes." All the ghosts come out of hiding and start giving everybody hell.
And Jack meets Mary, the ghost I mentioned,
who's been dead for 200 years.
Who's been dead for 200 years, and Mary her backstory is that she was married and that
She's
and
murdered
married by her husband
on the wedding night.
named
He
Martin.
was a very jealous man.
Yes,
was,
and he killed her, and I guess he committed suicide. Maybe I think
don't
in my
know.
mind.
They didn't say how he died.
Oh, no.
He might have committed suicide, but they relived that murder act for the last 200 years every night.
Yes.
A couple of times, not by the look of it. Mm-hmm. And
Yes.
they've been penalised. They're both stuck there in the castle.
Yes. Anyway, both. So Mary kind of falls in love with Jack, and Jack is a little still confused about the whole thing. Like, he doesn't believe that they're ghosts. They're probably just actors reenacting an actual event. But then he starts seeing things are.
He realises she is a ghost. He says,
real.
"This can never work. You're a ghost. I'm American." And I thought it was a rather good line.
Yeah, very clever. Oh man. Yes, and
What's the American got to do with it?
I don't know.
Oh,
But it's
Jack,
hilarious,
Anyway,
those dialogues. So anyway, Martin, the other ghost, he starts putting the moves on Jack's wife.
Beverly D'Angelo, Sharon, and and she sort of doesn't like Jack's approach, but this dead guy, Martin,
He has some moves.
He's got some moves, even though he squelches, whatever.
I don't know what that means.
I think he farts. I think it's flatulence.
Yeah, that could be it. That makes a lot more sense because there was
when there she uses an expression. She
Yeah.
squishes.
Yeah, and there was a scene in the shower, which I won't go into details, but you hear a weird noise.
Yeah, that must be squishing.
Yes. Anyway, he does a bit of some. Well, I won't get into details.
He introduced himself to Beverly D'Angelo in the shower.
Yes, and she was already taken in by the fact he's gorgeous looking, and
he got wonderful hands.
Yes, among other things. I'm not going to tell you that. But
okay.
yeah. So anyway, each ghost is falling in love with these two people.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, meanwhile, Peter O'Toole, our character, he's still a little upset. He gets a little drunk a couple of times in this movie, a lot.
That might be in character for him. I don't know whether some of those actors had a drinking problem. Him and I think Laurence Olivier and different guys, and other people. They did put it away.
Yeah.
So he could be one of those. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, so a ghost adventurer, the guy we told you earlier about, he starts trying to track the ghosts, and some of the ghosts do some interesting things. Like there's one scene where he's close to a fish that's mounted on the wall, and that you see a hand coming out of the fish's mouth and grabbing him. It's very bloody hand. I'm not going to go into gory detail. But it's really creepy.
Yeah, so it was quite reminiscent of the Addams Family, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was hilarious, especially when it says tut tut tut.
Yeah. Be mindful what you look for. You might find it. Yeah,
there was even a scene where one of the chefs in the kitchen, he's cutting up some fish for a fish stew, I imagine. And the fish was tweeting.
Like a bird.
Like a...
Evil was dead. You can't tell if it's still tweeting. Yeah, there's little gags like that all the way through the movie. It was fun.
It was hilarious.
It's,
yeah. And so Jack learns how to have relations with a ghost using a book, or supposedly from.
We read a book, yeah.
Yeah,
what was it called? Hey, I think the book was called High Spirits, wasn't it?
Yes.
That's a great name for a movie, isn't it, folks? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Peter's Plunkett's mother told him about how to touch with a ghost.
And he did touch very nicely too.
Because she is married to her husband, even if he's dead, after all. But she's still having a relationship with him.
It was an arranged marriage. Her father wanted her to marry him for some reason or other, so there was no love between them. And he killed her. So I think that sort of puts all bets off, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yes. So anyway.
I think so. Anyway, if someone killed me, I wouldn't be faithful to her.
Yes. So anyway, Peter eventually meets his father ghost, and he's like, "Oh, you're dead. Oh, you're not there. You're not there. All that stuff." But he then tells his dad how the fact that his dad died of normal causes.
Yeah, we found any warning. He said, "You just left me, didn't tell me anything. You just died. How inconsiderate, you know."
Yeah, and
he put all the blame back on his dead father. Really
Yeah.
good, hey. Not my
Yeah.
fault. You died early, you know.
yeah, but it's a bit sad that people drop off, and
Yeah, but
and
it's
it
quite
doesn't.
funny the way. I didn't realise, son. Yeah, but if Dad's been hanging around the castle for all those decades, why the hell didn't he appear to his son and give him some guidance and go through the books and help balance the books and everything? You know.
Agreed.
Hey, you cannot walk away from your responsibilities even
Yeah.
if you're dead. Okay.
Yeah. So, soon enough, there was even another scene where they go out into the swamps or into the woods and try to track the ghosts, and they think that the ghosts had left, but then they start coming out of all over the place,
Yeah.
everywhere.
And they start chasing them all
Yeah,
over the place.
it reminds
and,
me a little bit of a scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark where all the ghosts zoom around.
Yeah, the last
where-
bit there, if the Nazis are
in-
trying to open up the Ark of the
Yeah.
Covenant, that sort of stuff, And they get chased and everything,
Yeah.
but this male ghost is after Beverly D'Angelo's character. He's driving the bus that they came in on. Because the bus actually drove into the lake accidentally.
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
with the help of. Would the ghost do that?
No, I don't think it was the
they just
ghost.
did
It was
accidentally,
it was an accident.
Yeah, and they drove into the lake.
A funny accident.
Yeah, it's funny. You got to see it, folks. It's really good.
Yes, I won't. Yeah. Anyway.
Can't tell you everything.
Yeah. So anyway, Jack and Mary, they get down to it.
Yeah.
But suddenly, she somehow starts aging unexpectedly.
Oh, yeah, part of the problem, he had sex with her, well, obviously. And part of the problem is she would age to be more like 200 years old.
Yeah.
But if she is still loved by the person who she had sex with, despite her looks, she can regain her young looks again.
Yes. So when at first Jack is a bit, wow, this is happening.
This is not good.
And he freaks out, and he's about to.
He said, "Look, I love you, but good looks do help."
Yeah. Anyway, while all this is happening, his wife is about to reconsider Martin as a good-looking, great.
Have a bit of a fling with him.
Yes, and meanwhile, Jack is he tries to kiss Mary, and at first she doesn't. She'll still remember. It looks like a corpse, but then suddenly,
like a mummy almost.
yes, but somehow she kind of.
Just a bit of moisturiser for her.
Yes, but soon enough, she
regains her beauty while having a passionate kiss.
Yes, and meanwhile, while this is all happening, his wife is upstairs chasing after Martin, and when he was at a window, and he's saying, "Oh, you do care for me, come to me," and she comes towards him, and she plummets down the window and falls down 5 stories to her death.
And everyone thinks, "Oh, what a shame!"
Yes,
so Jack goes running out. "Oh, my wife!"
Yeah, and Mary somehow disappears while Jack is kissing her, and he heads outside, hearing the scream, and then he sees his wife dead.
And he does the right thing. He goes over there,
and unexpectedly, she transforms into Mary. Like her body is now taking on the form of Mary's appearance.
Yeah.
An interesting twist in this movie.
And
Mary is happy with Jack, and Jack's wife is happy with
Sharon's
Martin.
Sharon's happy with Martin Brogan. So she's happy running around having sex with the ghost because he's a ghost.
And how are you going to explain that to your father?
Well, exactly right. They say, "Hey, we went for our second honeymoon, but your daughter died. She's staying at the castle. Do you want to come visit her?" Yeah. Somewhere.
Yes.
And if he goes back home with her, he says, "Well, who's this strange woman you've now got?"
Yeah, true. So
interesting.
Yeah. Meanwhile, our brother Tony and Miranda, they finally admitted their feelings, and I think he's no longer planning on being a priest.
Well, they're leaving to go home. They'd stayed there for a few days, and someone says, "Oh, you're not wearing your collar, Father. Did you forget it?" Says, "No, I'm not going to be a priest now."
Yeah.
So they obviously must have consummated their friendship sometime or other, and he decided he'd rather have her than a life of celibacy. Oh, isn't it lovely? A marriage made in heaven. Well, in Ireland anyway. That's close enough.
Yeah. Anyway, our ghost hunter, whatever guy, he says he'll recommend the hotel to tourists,
everybody,
everyone
yeah,
that
it's the most
in order,
haunted castle in the world,
yeah,
or whatever.
so
Yeah.
that so it'll help his business
Yeah,
and
you
everything.
get a lot more tourists coming out, and they might actually be traded out of the losses.
Yeah, true.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah, and it's a all-round happy ever after for everyone, including Mary and Jack, whom Jack suggests maybe we should get married when things calm down.
Yeah, isn't that lovely? But
Yes.
anyway, irrespective.
And
So,
yeah, so
that was almost. It wasn't. It wasn't much more to tell. It's a good, nice, clean, basic movie. We didn't get a lot of laughs out of.
and a lot of fantasy.
Yeah, it's
stuff.
fun. Yeah, it's not a horror movie. It's a fantasy, but it's a fantasy with a lot of comedy thrown in. And if you like a comedy fantasy, you can't go past this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't walk away from this one, guys.
No, I mean, we like old movies as well as new movies. We seem to be doing a lot of slightly older movies, but
Yeah.
we will be doing some newer movies
Yeah,
as well. But some of these old ones, see, we don't know who's listening to these podcasts. If you've got some young people out there, say in the 20s, they might not have heard these old movies that we're reviewing, and they're missing out on such a treat. Isn't that right?
Exactly, Mike.
yeah.
I mean, these movies can take you back and may show you something that you haven't seen before.
Yeah, whether it's a horror or a sci-fi or a comedy horror, a comedy fantasy or comedy horror, there's some really good movies out there that we want to entice people to go look for, preferably buy. But if you can't buy them, download them and have a look at them.
True.
And actually, getting on to availability, I normally do this at the end. This movie is a little bit hard to get, but it's still available. Okay, now I did go online to have a bit of look, saying this movie is about 30 years old. It has been on Amazon, but it's pretty hard to get. It may make some new stock up. I know it's on eBay, so try there. If all else fails, after trying to do it the legal way, it's available as a torrent download. Okay, so try to buy a copy. I mean, keep the honesty up, but it is available as a torrent if all else fails. How's that?
Quite right.
Yes.
So anyway, guys, this movie I mean, it does have some interesting special effects. Maybe some of the stuff you could probably do, but other than that, it has a lot of heart to it.
Well, it wasn't CGI stuff because it was pre-CGI, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. It was all manual sort of stuff, a little bit of doctoring the film and that sort of stuff. But I think it was well done.
I agree. I mean, most people would probably walk away with, because this stuff, some of the special effects can be basic, but others it's pretty interesting.
But I don't think the movie needed great special effects because it was just funny.
Yeah, naturally.
And I wouldn't say it was crappy and low budget. That'd be unfair. It was made for a reasonable budget at their time, and they did the special effects the best they can with what they had available 30 years ago.
Yeah, and it does have a lot of heart to it, which is what we've been talking about in a lot of movies, having heart and a little bit of...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think everybody had a good time making that movie. It showed up in the acting.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, I think we should discuss that this wasn't... Jordan didn't exactly do the final cut on this film.
No, you would think the director would have been part of it, but he wasn't allowed to be part of the cutting process. And the original cut hasn't been released, and that cut there is supposed to be better than the one that's actually available to the media, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna knock this one, but I imagine
it's still a good movie.
It's still a good movie, guys.
Yeah,
So,
I think, again, I said earlier, I think it may have rated better if it was. It could have been a matter of timing. If you had a lot of really, really good movies put on, being released at the same time, it might have got overshadowed. That often happens. Remember that Dracula movie? We had that American Dracula movie with that letterer guy in it. I can't remember what it's called now. And something else came out about the same time and just walked all over it. Nobody went to see the Dracula movie, they went to see something else. And which is a bit of a shame because it wasn't the greatest movie I've ever seen, but it could have done a lot better. Yeah. So, it's a matter of timing of movies sometimes when you're releasing them.
True.
which is a bit of a shame because there's some good movies out there which get overlooked, and some, I won't say crappy movies, but some crappy movies get a lot of airplay because there's nothing else going on at that same time. So,
Yes.
it's a funny business, isn't it, folks?
Yeah, it is a funny business. But at least there's a lot of, well, kind of worthwhile movies out there that may get outshined, but they still have an interesting story behind it.
Of course, yeah, and that's what it's all about. Now, I mean, we're not saying, we don't want to take too much more time to talk about generalities here, but we will, I think Steve Guttenberg, he's been in a few other movies. Do you remember him offhand? Or? I know I've seen him in other movies, but I just can't remember what they are.
Well, I think I've seen him.
Comedy type
I think
movies,
he did another horror comedy a while back called The Tower of Terror.
That's right.
Which was made by Disney and based off of Ride.
Aha. There you go. Yeah. And obviously Daryl Hannah's been in a few things. She was in Splash? She was in, wasn't she in Blade Runner?
Yeah, I think so.
In Blade Runner, she played Pris, one of the replicants, yeah. Beverly D'Angelo, well, we all know Beverly. She'd been in the National Lampoon movies and other
she
things.
Was in. I think I was watching another movie of hers. I think last night called that. Well, not a movie actually. It's more of a. She made a TV appearance in Tales of the Crypt, and that was a pretty good one too. To watch, I recommend it.
Yeah, and look at Liam, and that Liam Neeson's had a good career. Now look at him. This could have been one of his earlier movies because he looked very young in this. And since then he's done obviously Star Wars?
Yes.
Was that 2 movies or 1 movie?
One.
One movie in Star Wars. He was in several other movies. I can't remember. There's something Michael Collins. I think he played in that movie. It's an Irish movie.
He also starred in Batman Beginning.
That's right, yeah. So he's had a few good roles over the years. I'm quite impressed with him. He's a very good actor. Who else is there? Peter O'Toole. Well, he's been around since Noah was a little boy. You know, he was in what was it for? Oh crikey!
Yeah, and Jennifer Till.
Yeah, that one, that war movie. Peter O'Toole.
That would be
Bugalogs.
That would be Lawrence of Arabia.
That's right. Yeah, Florence of Arabia. No, Lawrence. Yeah, Lawrence of Arabia. Plus other movies. And great actor. He's been around for years and years. I don't know how old he was in this movie, but I mean, he was showing a bit of age. So I don't know if it was near the end of his career, but he did really good in this.
Yeah, and I said before Jennifer
Tilly.
She's been other than Child's Play. She's also been in a number of other movies too, including one called well, I'm not sure about it, but I can't remember the name, but it's a pretty awesome movie too. But
we'll find it.
I'll find it and I'll let you guys know more
but we
about
want
it.
to do the Bride of Chucky one day. Well, some of the Chucky movies, you don't like them.
Mike, I like anything as long as
you like Chucky movies. Oh, I didn't think you did.
Mike, I'll pound you.
I like Chucky movies. I don't like some movies, but there are some crappy movies out there, folks. You know,
well, you just need to find them. Mostly is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's really hard. We've tried to pick good movies to get you to go watch them. We don't want to review a movie and say this is rubbish. Don't go watch it. Why bother doing the podcast? Yeah. So anyway,
Mike, zip it. Zip. Yes. Anyway, guys, I'm not. Mike is got it wrong this time around again. I'm not. I will probably look at doing some rather bad movies, and I'm just trying to find ones that haven't been viewed for a long time because they get overlooked so many times when you think about it. Like you guys keep going on about how you want to see the latest movie at the moment. There are a lot of old movies that have never been out in the light of the day in the last few years.
Yeah, it's about, and young people listen to these podcasts won't know they exist unless we tell them about them, and while they're still available.
True.
And that brings up another thing. I mean, I do collect movies and primarily to store them away for future generations, because the older movies are just disappearing. You cannot get them.
That's what I mean, guys. I mean, think about it. One of these days, these whoever is in control of the distributing may one day not distribute those very movies that you've been looking for so many years.
Well, a good example. I mean, when I sent away, I was looking for years and years and years, and I think last year it was finally released.
Yeah.
It was a 1964 movie. It's called The Ghost of Sierra de Cobre. It was originally done as a pilot episode for a TV series, which I think the original running time was about 45 to 50 minutes or something or other. They canned the TV series, so they put an extra 30 minutes of filming together, put it together and made the feature film and released to TV. Now, I saw it on TV back in the late 60s, early 70s, and then disappeared. And it's been in a vault, changed hands several times over the years, and it was finally released last year. And it was digitalised and everything to clean up the copy. And it's it's not a great movie. It's not a big commercial success one, but it's not a bad movie.
It's
But
a bit
it's
weird.
looking for them.
It's weird, Mike, that even though this movie, that particular movie that you mentioned, it's weird that they didn't let it out many years ago, just after when that some of the movies old movies have been outside.
Exactly. I mean, I've been looking for at least 10 years, and people were looking for it 10 years ago.
Yeah, it just meant
people
that.
said, "Where is it? We would like to see a copy of it." There was a copy going around film festivals and other film events, and they're using an old copy to show to people, but no one could get a copy of it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I mean, the movie. Well, you said it yourself, Mike. That it's not as scary as it is now.
Oh, yeah, today's stuff is just over the top sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the
It's like
stuff back then.
It's more like a suspense thriller with some horror thrown into it.
Yeah, it's just that it wasn't. It's not as scary. It's like if you watch the old 13 Ghost guys, not the new one that came out.
The old one.
The old one. You see that one is not as scary as everyone
The
makes
new one.
out.
Yeah, but the new one, they've made it more graphic. A bit more horror and bloodthirsty. It's sort of like
Yeah, I mean, considering back then in those days, they didn't concentrate on the gore. They concentrate on the thriller side.
Yeah, the goosebumps up your neck and stuff, and ooh, yeah, that sort of stuff. The feeling they get you going. It's like Psycho. Remember Psycho? Psycho was the only time I think Alfred Hitchcock did a horror-related movie, but it was more of a suspense thriller with a little bit of horror thrown in, and it was all suspense. What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And that's what makes a good movie. Whether it's a horror or a drama, suspense thriller, a sci-fi, getting you on the edge of your seat going, what's happening next? It draws you into the picture, the film. Yeah. And that's what you want, no matter what the film is.
Yeah, so how do you want to rate this High Spirits movie, Mike?
Look, I love it. I think this is great. It is a fantasy comedy. I think it's got it ticks all the right boxes. Now, I mean, it's got good actors in it. The sets are good. The storyline's believable. There's nothing really weird in it.
And
it all comes together nicely. I've got to give it a 9.
Yeah. Let me think. It was pretty good, and I do agree with Mike that it does have a good storyline, and there's no gaps. There's no what ifs. No
grey areas.
No grey areas that we talked about. So I give this one a 9.
Ooh.
2. 9 out of 10.
There you go.
Yeah, so it was a pretty awesome movie that you guys definitely should go check out.
Yeah, I think if you can't buy a copy, like Amazon might be hard, but eBay still has copies available. And if you can't get a copy, then it is available on Amazon. But make that as a torrent download. But do that as your last resort. Yeah, please buy a copy. Do it legally. I can't tell you to do torrents only because that's against the law. But if you can't get it, by all means, it's an old one. It's almost public. It'll be public domain soon. It's getting older and older and older, so nobody's watching it. It's not on TV.
Yeah, and as Mike's pointed out to you, these things may not stick on the shelves forever.
See, Amazon's getting out of stock in most of the sites.
Yeah, well,
and whether they're going to get reissued any, I don't know.
Yeah, just like the other day when they were, when we were watching on television, they were at the time during Easter Saturday, or they well, I won't mention dates. The other day I saw 2 different versions of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, they're all
and
one and the new one on two different TV stations at the same time.
yes, it's either the fact that they're running out of films to show, or they're just running out of ideas on what else
I
to
think Easter
see.
and the chocolates, and then maybe, let's do that movie, but both of them got the same idea at the same time.
Yeah, they probably thought, wait, the other channel is showing it now, so we may have to use the other one to show it.
Actually, my problem is, I mean, before you log, I mean, you get things like Christmas, and you get things like Easter.
Yeah.
Now we're in a Christian country, and
Yes.
I like to think that some people from other Christian countries listen to our podcast. What happened to all the, say, Christmas movies, religious and other, Easter movies, religious and other? Where are the movies going to? I mean, people say, nobody wants to watch them anymore. How the hell would they know if they don't put them on? Try them. Some people might want to actually see them.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
most of the ones I hear about, like the old cartoons I've watched when I was a little kid, and now that my niece and nephew are around, and I've grown up a bit, and I've rewatched the those cartoons, and I don't see anything wrong with them. But a lot of people out who are parents are probably seeing problems where there's no problems actually.
Yeah, I think she's talking about political correctness and stuff.
Yeah, they keep saying that there's bullying, there's racism, even though
There's not really. It's joke. It's fantasy crap. It's cartoon world.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Yeah, if there is any bullying and stuff like that, you're going to find that in reality, without the cartoons, you're going to see a lot of bullying out
But
there.
the bullying in the cartoons usually come off second best, and the good guy wins anyway. So
Yeah.
it teaches a lesson saying, hey, don't be bullied because something's going to be. You're going to get yours. You're going to be punished, or you're going to get hurt because you're being silly or something, or that sort of stuff. So it actually does teach them
Yeah, but
what
parents
not to do.
Yeah, but parents keep overlooking that, and I've seen the end result and all that stuff, but they seem to forget about
Here's a good example.
the moral to the story.
Now, there's an old movie, guys. So you young people probably haven't seen it. Tom Sawyer, an old black and white movie. No, great movie for its period. A great movie. I can't remember the guy who played Tom Sawyer, but the Tom Sawyer person was not a nasty little boy, a little boy who was always getting into trouble. There's always not doing his chores, not doing this, skipping school, blah, blah. Always getting into trouble. He became a hero in the end. And to me, that was good. It's good family entertainment and showing kids even naughty guys aren't always naughty. They're playful, they're mischievous. It doesn't mean they're naughty or bad or horrible, they're going to burn in hell. It just means they're a kid growing up. They're just pushing the boundaries a bit.
Yeah.
Yes. So why ban the movies? I don't know, but
Yeah, so anyway, guys, that's about all we have. If we have anything else to add to High Spirits before we can log
actually,
off.
that one was pretty open and closed case. That one, not like the one we did the other day. It went for an hour and a half.
And by the way, guys, I won't let Mike ever talk about what movies I haven't seen. Okay, again, if he keeps this up, I'll definitely throw him off the set.
You'll sack me, will you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll just take my mixing desk and microphones and go home. Oh, I'm home, aren't I? Okay.
Yeah. So, guys, I'm sorry about the his behaviour tonight. I'll try to get him to see a doctor.
Hello. I need a see a psychiatrist. I'm not very well today.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll let him get over this weird behaviour of
I'm
his.
getting cabin fever. That's all, folks. Yeah. We're
Yes.
stuck in here too,
Yeah, so thanks for listening, boys and ghouls. So, till then, I'll see you around.
Bye, guys.